All right, Sagittarius, this week may feel a little bit more behind the scenes for you. The Scorpio Full Moon is happening in the part of your chart that is connected to your subconscious, your dreams, your intuition, closure, and healing, and the things that you don't always say out loud. This may not be the loudest week on the outside, but internally, there could be a lot moving around. You may feel a little bit more tired, more reflective, more intuitive, or like something old is coming up to be cleared before you can move into a new chapter. At the same time, Taurus season is kind of like putting focus on your daily life, like your work, your health, your habits, and what is carrying you through your day-to-day life. So this week may show you how your inner world is affecting your outer routine, like your stress, your emotions, your dreams, old patterns, even things that you thought were completely over and done with. They may be showing up through your body, your energy, or your need for space. So we're going to go ahead and lay out the cards and get into your reading here. But what we are going to be focusing on in your reading is more of what hidden emotional pattern or subconscious truth or unfinished chapter that you are being guided to release under this Scorpio full moon. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, Six of Swords, Death, Ace of Pentacles, King of Cups. A lot of transformative energy here and healing energy, to be perfectly honest. Page of Cups, Four of Pentacles, and Seven of Swords. And under the deck, we have the Seven of Cups. Scorpio got, well, no, they had that in a different position, but anyhow. And we're going to start with your Oracle card here. Okay, Sagittarius. This is interesting because your Oracle card is routine brings comfort and clarity. And there is the image of this broom here right in the doorway on the doorstep. One thing that came to mind is some people need to clean off their own doorstep before they clean off yours. Just saying. But outside of that, right away, this feels like clearing energy, sweeping things up, tidying up the environment, getting back into your rhythm. And for you, with this Scorpio full moon happening in the hidden part of your chart, while Taurus season is highlighting your daily routines, which is your sixth house, this Oracle card could not fit any better. This is cleaning house here. And I think that's what this week is going to be about for you, Sagittarius, cleaning house. This is saying that clarity may not come from overthinking. It may come from getting back to basics, clean the space, clear the schedule, organize the day, take care of your body, get the clutter out of the way, both on the physical and the emotional and spiritual planes here, levels, all of it. This is a major cleanse, a major clearing. And honestly, Sagittarius, this reading does feel transformative, but it's not loud, chaotic transformation. It's more like that quiet, internal transformation. The kind that happens when you finally say, I can't keep carrying this energy into everyday life anymore. And we start here with the Six of Swords. This is your current energy. So right away, you're moving away from something mentally or emotionally heavy. This can be leaving stress behind, moving out of conflict, trying to find a sense of peace, or simply just saying, I need calmer waters. It may not mean everything is fixed overnight, but this does show movement. Now, they're in transit. People might say traveling, yes. And you see, we have the choppy waters here, the calm waters here, haven't reached the destination yet, but it's progress, moving towards that. This is the transformation stage, transition. This is more like a transition in between two phases or two places. This is the in-between stage. And but after that, we have the death card here. What needs transformed or stabilized? And it's transformation itself. Death is about transformation, endings, release, shedding old skin. So what needs stability is your relationship with change itself. Sometimes when transformation happens, we want to grab onto anything familiar because the unknown feels uncomfortable. But death says something old is already passing away. And the question is whether you're going to fight it or are you going to allow the clearing, allow the transformation and the change to happen. And that broom over here on this oracle card, that's what matters here. This isn't just change for the sake of change. This is clearing out what is no longer, or what no longer belongs in your energy. Okay? And then we have this, the full moon is revealing this Ace of Pentacles. It's a new opportunity. I like this after the Six of Swords and death because we get something new and grounded. This full moon may reveal a new option for you, some new path that leads you towards stability, like a new practical beginning or even a small seed that can grow into something more secure over time. I feel like that there is something brand new entering. Okay, and with this Taurus season highlighting daily routines for you, this could be very practical. A new work rhythm, possibly a new job opportunity or a promotion, something that's going to level you up. This could even be a new habit of some sort. And really figuring out a better schedule for you. A simpler way of doing something and something that gives you a chance to rebuild from the ground up. And I say that because when you think about a seed, it goes in the ground. And then it sprouts up through the dirt and it blooms, right? It grows. And that's what we're talking about here. That growth, unless you have a time-lapse camera, doesn't happen instantly. You do have to work at it. I ain't gonna lie here. You do have to work at it. And so in the process, you have a King of Cups here that needs to be released. I don't see this as releasing emotional maturity. I see this more as releasing a habit of holding everything in. Because when you think about the King of Cups, he's somebody who maintains control of his emotions. He's very stable on that platform despite all the rough waters around him. He's not losing his balance. He has his composure about him. He's very compassionate, very balanced. And in the negative, I almost feel like, I'm not reading reversals, but I almost feel like this being in a reverse position. You know, you may have received some advice from other people that may not have been sound advice and may have got you into a pickle, that sometimes you have to toss that advice right out the window and trust your own instinct. Okay? The King of Cups can be very calm on the outside, but he feels very deeply. So Sagittarius, this may be about letting go of the pressure to manage everything internally, to keep your emotions controlled, to not let anyone know very much about what or is affecting you or how much something has affected you. It's like, I'm fine. And you keep that all bottled up inside instead of maybe sitting down with a close friend or family member, somebody that you trust, and talking it out and crying it out, whatever. But those bottled up emotions, it's like a cancer, and it eats you from the inside out. And that's what I'm seeing here that needs to be released. It's fine to be in emotionally control, have emotional control, but it's another thing to take it to the extreme where you just bottle it up and you don't let it out. And sometimes healing is not about pretending that you are fine. Sometimes healing is saying, I'm carrying more emotional weight than I've admitted. Okay? Then in the money and love department, this is also your self-worth position. This is a Knight of Cups with the Cup of Love here. So there may be an emotional offer, a message, a creative idea, that kind of pulls on your heart. It could be an apology from somebody. This can be, but not always, be romantic, but it doesn't have to be romantic. It can be a dream, a desire, or emotional invitation. But because we have the Seven of Cups underneath the deck, I would say make sure that the emotional offer is very clear. Make sure you're not choosing from fantasy or confusion or even wishful thinking. This Knight of Cups can feel very beautiful, but it needs some grounding. It needs to become something real, not just something that feels good in the moment. So, in a way, this self-worth check is cautioning you not to be living in a fantasy. That cup of love you should be giving that to yourself. And if you are one that feels like you have to give it out, be careful where you're giving that love to. And like I said, most importantly, you need to be giving that to yourself. That cup of love right there. And your healing message here being the Four of Pentacles. This is where the routine piece comes back in. The Four of Pentacles is about holding on to security and boundaries and stability and what matters. But in the healing position, it may also say you need to simplify and protect your energy. There's definitely a protective element here. Blocking out the naysayers, the negativity, protecting yourself from negative people. It's like you pick up the energy of others that you surround yourself with. And you have to be a little bit mindful of that during this week. Who am I spending time with? And sometimes you just have to put up some boundaries. you have to protect yourself. And then we have the Seven of Swords. This is where we need to be really honest with ourselves. The Seven of Swords in the advice and outcome position can point to avoidance, secrecy. It could be a strategy or someone not putting everything out on the table. In this reading, especially with the hidden 12th house energy, this may be about what you've been avoiding within yourself. Okay, so you need to ask some questions. You need to ask, what are you sneaking around emotionally? What truth are you trying to not look at? What routine have you been avoiding? What habit do you know that needs change, but you keep putting it off? Now, if this involves another person, yes, be mindful of unclear motives or someone not being fully transparent. But I actually feel this can be just as much about self-honesty. And the Scorpio Full Moon is happening behind the scenes for you. So the biggest thing being revealed may not come from someone else. It may come from inside you. And then that underneath the deck, where we have that Seven of Cups here. So what you don't see coming is that there may be a lot of options, a lot of emotions, a lot of dreams. And along with that could come confusion. This card says, not everything that looks appealing is aligned. Be mindful of fool's gold. That just came to me. Be mindful of fool's gold. And you also have to realize not every opinion is grounded. Not every cup has something worth drinking. Now, the thing that really stands out in this spread is that there are no wands, no fire. And Sagittarius, you are a fire sign. So when fire is missing, it can show that your spark, your motivation, your passion, or your sense of direction may be a little bit low this week. This doesn't mean it's gone. It just means this week may not be about charging forward. It may be more about clearing, stabilizing, healing, and then getting your energy back. This spread itself is actually very balanced because we have 2 swords, 2 pentacles, 2 cups, and 1 major arcana. But the missing fire tells me your spirit may need space to reignite. You may not get your spark back by forcing yourself to push harder. You may get it back through routine, rest, and clarity, and clearing out all those things that have been draining you all this time. So your overall message here is your clarity comes through clearing. Clearing your space, clearing your schedule, clearing old emotional weight, clearing confusion, clearing habits that keep putting you into the same fog. This is not a week where you need to have every single answer, but it is a week where you can start moving forward towards those calmer waters. Let that old version of something end. And plant that new seed that feels more stable. Routine may sound boring, especially to Sagittarius, but this week it may be the very thing that helps you feel like yourself again. Because once the clutter clears, the fire can come back out. So Sagittarius, I hope this helps you. Hope this guidance resonates with you. Please feel free to comment below. Hit that thumbs up button and that notification. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. I love you all, and I'll see you in the next one.